Greetings. My name is Darius, and I spent the last month trying out stock option trading. I traded weekly, I traded daily, I lost money, I made money, and I learned an enormous lesson on how to actually make money moving forward with trading stock options. So I'm going to tell you about that experience today. Alrighty. For the majority of this, I was trading the S&P 500, which is SPY, but we will get into that in a minute. First off, my first month as a day trader, the ugly truth and the numbers. All right, a couple of things we're going to go over today. The preconceptions, I'll tell you about what I thought stock trading was, or stock options trading, to be more correct, was before and what I think about it now. I'll actually show you what all I profited. I'll show you what all I lost, and I'll tell you about how I lost it. And I'll give you my blueprint moving forward, what I have learned and what I decided I want to do moving forward. And then you're next, right? We'll talk about ways you can get into this. Alrighty, the preconceptions, what I thought day trading was. I thought it was gambling. I thought I've been a stock market investor for, I don't know, maybe about 9 years or so now. I've always been against trading. And every single person I tell to start investing in stocks, they always ask me, "Ooh, how do I start trading? I want to start trading." I know traders to be gamblers, right? It's gambling with extra steps. That is a Toy Story reference. If you get it, you get it. Um, and yeah, I had no desire to lose money. I didn't feel like staring at my phone for a long time. Nothing about trading appealed to me, so I've always steered clear of it. A man in a cave, a man cave with six monitors, all with different charts on them. That's what I thought. I'm thinking, ooh, you're doing day trading. Your room needs to look like Wall Street, and you need to have all the charts up all the time. That's not. It's not really the case. You can do it with a lot less than that. And then internet flexers that only show their wins and hide their overwhelming losses. I've used Google, I've used AI, I've done the research. I'm aware that over 95% of traders lose money, right? Like collectively, they may win some, but they lose a lot more than they win. And all I see on the internet is traders winning money. So that tells me two things. One, majority of the people on the internet are lying. And two, I don't even know what two is, but they're lying. So I don't trust it. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. All right. Now, but the catalyst, what has changed my mind about all this trading stuff? First off, it was the coach and it was a gift from a student. So what I mean by that is, as you know, I have Mammoth Money Academy. That is my school academy linked in the description where I help people get started with investing into stocks, right? We talk about the S&P 500. We talk about index funds. We talk about um, tech companies and safe places to put your money that grows a lot faster than savings. That's my comfort area. That's what I'm cool with. One of my students from that, one of the people that took my course, she actually tagged me in some random person's ad where they were talking about they were teaching people to trade. For whatever reason, at this moment, I was like, you know what? I'm really into stocks right now, let me check that out. So I reached out to this coach. She had a free coaching plan that was going on, but I'm in Africa, so I couldn't attend it. She also answered the phone, which I was surprised at. So I got to talk to her for, maybe 30 minutes or so. She told me the name of the type of trading she was doing, which is vertical credit spreads. And she told me, that she did it. She retired from it, that she only puts in about 20 or so minutes of like research and action into it a day. And that sounded good to me because already, one, it broke my preconceived notion of day traders don't actually make money. And two, it broke my notion of thinking that you had to be tied up with your computer all day to make money from this because, within that 30-minute conversation, she was like, I retired myself from this and this is my full time gig. She has to make money if she lives off of it. And then two, she told me she only does, this one action a day, makes her money, and then she's done. It's not a prolonged, I have to be staring at my phone all day kind of thing. So I liked it. She told me it was $3,000 to do a private coaching with her for a day. Um, I didn't know enough about it to want to spend that much money. So I just took the name and jumped on YouTube, right? Typed in vertical credit spreads on YouTube, watched a whole bunch of videos from different people on that technique and a few other different trading techniques that you can do with options. That gave me, between talking to her, going to YouTube, gave me a whole bunch of information. Now I had some more particular questions I needed. So I went to AI. Um, if you did not know, the better communicator you are, the more beneficial AI will be, because instead of just asking it, "Hey, teach me how to make money trading stock options," I told it, "Hey, act as a professional stock investor that's made millions of dollars from trading vertical credit spreads, with a high percentage um, of wins." And then after I said that, I put a colon and then asked my question, and it responded to me in a different way. So I used AI to answer a lot of the questions to fill in the blanks I had about this whole trading thing. And after all that, I had enough confidence in myself and my now knowledge to try it out myself. And that's what we're about to talk about. All right. So my profits and losses, right? This will be my full experience from stock trading. So I actually kept a journal while I have been doing this. So I'll show you that now somewhere. Oh, here. Boom, bam, right? So this is Google Sheets. I've started using this a little more than I use Microsoft Excel, but they work about the same. So you'll see over here, I started this at the beginning of the month, and we are not done with the month yet. But I didn't feel like I didn't feel like waiting another week to make this video, so here we are. All right. So important things to note from all my chicken scratch. Feel free to pause if you really want to get into the weeds and look at all of my numbers. But basically, I wrote down what the date was, what actual asset I was trading, what action I did, strike prices, expiration dates, the quantity I traded. But the part you probably care about is how much money I made, right? And I took notes over here, right? First spread ever down here. I probably won't do this on Palantir anymore just because it feels unstable for this strategy. And there really isn't an upside for taking the extra risk, right? I'm giving myself notes as I go on, as I think should be in a journal. And then over here in gold, I actually started making my own, unbreakable rules I need to live and trade by, right? I started off with rules that Gemini gave me about selling at 50%. I wasn't really feeling that. I was like, shoot, I need at least 80%. But as we moved on, I dropped down. I was like, 70% might work. And then, beware the final hour of trading. I learned that the beginning hour and the last hour are terrible if you're trying to day trade stuff. Just the market moves so much, you get thrown out of your position. It's really easy to lose money. Yep, final option day. I made a new rule where I'm going to start taking profit or even take a loss at least 2 hours before the closing time. That's just how scary the final hour of the market is. But yeah, so back to these numbers. So basically, the way this strategy works is whenever you get into your position, you earn money. You get your money the day you put it in there, right? Now, what also happens is whenever you close that position, you lose money. So you'll see a whole bunch of red on here. That doesn't necessarily mean it was a loss. Honestly, none of these are losses. But as an example, what's this? So this one is, 249, but this one that lines up with it, this other Palantir one is 100. So I closed at 60%, which means I got 249 and then I gave back 100. So I had 149 as my, positive net amount I made from that trade. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I just highlight all of my losses and all of my earnings, you will see down here the sum. So right now, I'm sitting at $7,845 that I have made from the 2nd of March to the 20th of March. And that's just me. This is a mixture of, so all the ones in black are like week long trades I did. And that means I entered into my position, one day and most likely Anywhere between 5 to 8 days later, I exited the trade. And these blue ones are day trades that I did. That means I opened the position and I closed the position on the same day. But yeah, all these added up together. This is how much I've made so far. Um, so I will talk about my, right. You can see all these are highlighted green. Basically, that means I ended positive. All those are my wins. So this one and this one are the same trade. But this was my only loss. It was a big loss. So over here, you will see basically I went up 880, but I went down 2000, right? So if I highlight both of these, you'll see the difference. So technically, I lost $1,136 from this trade. Long story short, it seemed like a good position. It started getting into that late hour that I made all these notes about. It started moving real crazy. I did not get out when I should have. Then it ended up going negative. And it didn't just go negative, 10 or 20. It went negative 128%. And I went ahead and cut my losses and paid that amount off before it went even more negative. So, all that to say, trading, investing does have considerable risk. Don't do anything you're not prepared. Don't risk anything you're not prepared to lose. But while you're in positions, don't lose focus. Sometimes you have to take a small loss for fear of taking a huge loss. So pretty much that was my only loss. I've honestly won the rest of these, which is a blessing. And I feel pretty good about this. I feel pretty confident. But again, yep, this is how I've done so far. Again, you can just rewind or pause that if you want to look at it longer. I'll get back to the slideshow. All right. So, how I got my wins. So, why I have, majority like 90% wins and then I have that one loss? It's because I'm a greedy, conservative strategist. So, what I mean by that is I was only taking uh, deals or bets or investments, whatever you want to call them, to where I was at least 85% chance to profit from it, right? 85, most of the time I'd go up into 90 or 95% chance to profit. And those are the only deals that I took. So my history reflects that, right? That's why I won a lot more than I lost. How I dealt with loss, I mean, I kind of talked about it. Yep, this was my biggest negative amount. And this was just on the backside, ended up net, I only lost 1,100, but ultimately having to give back $2,000, that was my biggest loss. Oh, so how I won and completely and still lost. So one tip or one lesson that I got that I will carry forward is I had one, dealing one trade where I was winning. I was supposed to close that day at 100% and keep, it was about $900. So I was like, perfect. It was a day trade. I got $900 off of it. I'm extremely happy. It starts to get towards the end of the day where everything just closes and, expires. And Robinhood decided to sell my position for me as a protective measure against um, letting stuff expire. I had no idea that system was built in there. I thought it was a glitch, and it ended up selling my position where I was up like 93%, ended up selling it around like 80%, which ended up me losing $140 out of my 900. Obviously, I'm still positive, so a happy guy, but I should have been more positive. And I don't want to make this video too long. That's why I'm not getting real deep into how these option things work. But basically, I learned that I need to start closing my own positions every single, day or whenever my expirations are, instead of thinking that I can let them expire at 100%, because there are times where the system will auto sell them for you because it's trying to protect you from a potential loss. Alrighty. So, all that being said, here's my blueprint moving forward. This is what I'll be doing for the rest of the year. As you saw, I'm doing decently. So I do plan on continuing to do this trading thing. Um, The weeklies are my favorites. I feel it's easier to predict the market out a week than it is to predict what it's going to do for the day. But I will keep practicing. So I'll try to do 2 to 3 daily trades a week. My goal is to make $10,000 a month. As you saw, I'm decently close to that. So as long as this next week goes well, I should hit that amount. And I hope to grow, after a few months, going through this, I hope to grow this to $20,000 a month. Small trades in the system start about 500. So basically, what I'm saying with this is, yes, I'm throwing out these bigger numbers, or maybe the smaller numbers, depending on who the person listening to it is. But if you're wondering about how to get started with this process, if I was only trading like one contract at a time, the collateral that I would need, it was around $500 for most of the stuff that I would do. So if you did decide you wanted to start learning this or try this out, you should try to have at least like $500 available that you can use to purchase contracts, whether they be daily or weekly. And you should be able to make maybe around $50 or so off of that 500, you know, dollar investment. So I don't know if you like those numbers. I think 10% in a day, 10% in a week is pretty great considering most people accept 10% from the market over an entire year. So you can do that math. That's just me. And it has a high percentage of winning as long as you are disciplined and don't try to be super greedy. All right. Now, what about you? What are you doing lately to increase your wealth? Just a question you can ask yourself. Have you ever tried trading stock options? I didn't before. Glad I'm doing it now. I've done other types of stock options tradings, over the years, like leaps. I've been a big fan of leaps. I also started doing covered calls and selling puts. But this is my first time actually feeling like a trader, doing day trades, doing weekly trades. This is also the most money I've made from doing this option stuff. Do you prefer long or short term trades? Like we said, leaps, super long, weeks are kind of mid range, and they also have really short term stuff like day trades or scalping. Uh, Regardless of what your investment strategy is, I think it's a lot easier to do with a community. Community. What about Mammoth Money Academy? Like I said, the link to the academy is in the description of this video. Um, it's free, right? It's free to join. I made a course on how to start getting invested into the market. All of that's free. Is right there as soon as you join. The only thing that would cost money is this option side. Because it's more higher risk, I would prefer to only have people who, you know, have a couple dollars uh, to invest, join it. And given the risk, it's going to take more one on one coaching to make sure that you do it properly because I don't want anybody losing a shirt, losing a house, none of that stuff. We need to be disciplined, not greedy. And it takes a little more effort to get to that than just, invest in dollar cost averaging in the regular market. But we'll learn and grow together in that group. So, yeah, why not join? It's free. Okay. That is about it. Again, Darius Lester, owner of Mammoth Money Academy. If you have any questions or thoughts about this video, if you would like me to make, yeah, even more so, if you'd like me to make more videos like this one, comment that. Let me know. I will show more graphs. I'll actually explain what I did to make the amount of money that I made this month, and I'll share how much I make next month. Just a thought. And maybe if you hate this type of content, let me know that too, and I'll stop making it. All right. Y'all have a good one.